First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fox 12 Now. As always, appreciate you joining us, whatever platform you are on. It is always good to have you here. And of course, we are live streaming on our website, on our apps, and of course, on social media as well. So if you do have comments and questions as we go throughout the show, feel free to join in for those. And one thing that we do here is we cover a lot of topics that are very important to a lot of people. One of those is tolls on Oregon roads. That is something that has been brought up many times. ODOT has said they are going to put this off for a little bit, but eventually it does seem like it's going to be coming. So what do people think about that? Turns out there's a lot of opinions on that exact topic. And joining us right now to talk about that from DHM Research, we have John Horvick. And John, as always, great to have you here on the show to talk about this data and the surveys that you collect and the opinions that people have. And this one, I know just personally, a lot of people have some real big opinions on this one.
For sure. So we did a survey with some local governments and a labor union. So with cities of West Linn, like Oregon City, Tualatin, Wilsonville, as well as United Food Commercial Workers, because they're all interested in understanding how folks in the region, this was a survey of folks in the Portland metro region, how they're thinking about the ODOT's plans for tolling. And do they see a need to address transportation issues in the region, congestion, quality of the roads? What are their concerns? What are the reasons that maybe they'd be supportive of them? So we had an opportunity to go to talk to them. This sort of research hadn't been done, so far as at least I'm aware. These are some big plans that are moving forward, but we haven't checked in yet with everyday folks, what they're thinking. So this is an opportunity to do that.
Right. I mean, it's always good to get kind of the feel and the pulse of how people are feeling about this. And you mentioned it's some different cities, that you're doing this research with. But I know that the demographics usually cover a wide range of people, as your surveys usually do. So I'm really curious to see how people are feeling about this.
Well, so I'd say a couple things. One, folks in the region agree that there's a challenge to be met. They're concerned about traffic congestion. They are concerned about the quality of roads. So, but 81%, they had a high level of concern about traffic congestion. 74% said that they had high levels of concern about the quality of roads. So there's a problem to be met, a challenge to be met, but they're very apprehensive about ODOT's proposed solution with tolls. So we did ask folks a few different times in the survey about tolls. First, just a general sort of like idea about tolling without getting into specifics of the particular plans. But then we asked about the particular plans. And then, 65+% support throughout the survey told us that they were in opposition to tolling. And we gave people reasons that tolling might be beneficial. And that did not move people towards being more supportive either. So here is this general question that Greg had just put up. This is before we got into the specifics about ODOT's plans, but voters are starting from a place of real skepticism. 76% say that they're opposed to tolling in the metro area. We did ask a follow-up question: why? If they were opposed, why were they opposed? And this is something that they could say anything they wanted. This isn't where we put them a list of reasons. They could just share their own opinions. And the top one is really concerns about, gosh, I'm already paying taxes. My taxes are high. Affordability. I feel like what I'm paying should get the roads addressed in a way that's satisfactory. So the sense that I'm already paying for the roads, and now you're asking me to pay something on top of that, and a whole new mechanism. And that's what really stood out, the sort of concern that, gosh, I'm already paying a lot for roads in the region, and now you're asking me to pay more.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I feel like that is a concern that a lot of people have. You have so many different funds going towards maintaining the roads, and then, where is that going? What does that mean? Part of it, I think, could eventually be building some of these new roads or the bridge, wherever those funds could end up going. But yeah, I think it's also probably a little bit of just an Oregonian thing, I think, in this Portland area, in that we don't have toll roads like this. Other places in the country, this is pretty standard and common to have toll roads, but here, I can see why. We also just started pumping our own gas, so there's something about this region where, we like things as they are, so a toll road is definitely going to be something, and I'm seeing some opinions come through. There are definitely people who have opinions here as we're live about this, but that's why we're going through this data to see.
Right. So it's no doubt the concept of tolling, ODOT's plans, is to do something brand new, right? Or there's essentially no tolls in Oregon to cross some bridges over the Columbia River. Maybe there's a toll there, but essentially this would be a brand new thing. So you're asking people to really to pay for something that they don't feel like they're paying for directly now, and you're asking them to set a whole new mechanism, and those are both challenges. And I'll say, although we didn't ask about it in the survey, when we've asked about Oregonians in the past about tolling, because they don't have experience, a lot of what they envision are things like long lines where people throw in their money into the bucket and you have to sort of creep your way up to the front and not having things electronic. So even the vision that people might have in their head may not match exactly what the reality could be. But at the same time, voters are saying that they're quite apprehensive about doing something new. The other thing is that we've heard in lots of other work that we've done over the years around tolling here in Oregon, but even across the country, is that there's often apprehension about tolls that don't add, aren't for new projects, not a new bridge, not a new lane. Usually we'll hear people say, well, if this is going to add something new, I'm willing to pay for that something new. And ODOT's plans are different than that. There's less about new capacity, whether it's new lanes, new bridges, et cetera. So it's new to Oregonians, but this concept is also different than has been implemented in other parts of the country.
Yeah. So that's very interesting, and seeing how they're going to be going about that. What were some of the data points that you looked at with this?
Well, one of the things that really stands out is the opposition to tolling is broad. So it's not just people who live next to the I-5 and 205. It's not just among people who drive on those regularly. So opposition is broad. It's broad across those groups, broad across income, broad across age. It is more intense in Clackamas County. And we have seen, folks in communities and individuals organizing Clackamas County probably to more than other parts in the region. And the intensity is significantly more in Clackamas County than it is in Multnomah or Washington County, particularly when we're talking about tolls on I-205.
And that certainly I could definitely see a lot of people, because being near I-205, but Clackamas especially, that is such an artery right there, for going through that region, that area. I'm seeing some comments. There's some very colorful comments that are coming through here. We're live on Facebook about feeling about tolls, and certainly this is the opinion of a lot of people. And as we're going through this data, again, this is survey data of a number of people about their opinions on that. One thing I did want to just kind of go back to, because you mentioned a little bit about the data as far as what is it that people would like to see done, or let me rephrase this question. Was there any indication of what people would like to have done to mitigate and accommodate for some of these issues that we're having on the freeways?
It's a real challenge, because here we are talking about tolling. It's clear from this survey that people are opposed to tolling. They're opposed because they feel like they're paying taxes already. They're concerned about impacts on low-income individuals. They're concerned that tolls could push traffic onto neighborhood streets and cause congestion off the highway, so to speak. So problems to be met, concerns people have, but right, people do want to see congestion addressed. They do want to see the quality of roads maintained. And so we did ask about several other mechanisms to potentially raise revenue to pay for transportation in the region. We asked about, here what they are: increasing registration fees for electric vehicles, increasing electric fees or registration fees for all vehicles, not just electric vehicles, increasing the gas tax, and a pay per mile system. And of those, the only one that had majority support was increasing registration fees for electric vehicles. So there's a challenge. People don't like tolling, but there's, at least in this survey, we didn't find necessarily support for other frequently discussed mechanisms to pay for transportation. So there's a policy challenge, there's a political challenge, there's a public opinion challenge, no doubt. And also, it's clear that tolling is not a solution that Oregon, or at least those in the metro region, are excited about.
Yeah, definitely. That is the overwhelming opinion as this data backs it up. I think those other possible solutions, those are interesting. I don't know. And this is just a side discussion on this, but as far as taxing electric vehicles, I don't know if that's going to be enough to really, close that funding gap that ODOT seems to have. I mean, are there even enough electric vehicles to make that matter? But it's certainly something that can be addressed as you see, maybe with more electric vehicles, less of those gas taxes. Obviously, maybe there's some ways to get some funding gaps taken care of with that. But fascinating info, though, just seeing how people feel about it and what we're going to do with that sentiment.
If I can just say, just so people are aware, we did tell people why ODOT is considering these. That people are driving high efficient fuel vehicles, electric vehicles, so gas tax revenues declining, and we put arguments forward about why tolling may be beneficial. So people had an opportunity in the survey to consider both sides. We wanted to give people a fair reading of the different perspectives. And so when we're talking about these numbers, people were informed why, people were informed about the details of ODOT's plans. They were given perspectives in support of tolling as well as in opposition to tolling. So we really did try to get a fair read of where people are at on this issue.
And just to recap a couple of those, if you don't mind, John, just what were some of the benefits, at least maybe from the ODOT perspective, as far as putting the tolls on the road?
It's raised revenue. We had, like we said in the survey, people do believe that congestion is a problem and road quality is a problem. So tolls are a means to raise revenue. There are ways to make sure that those who are using the roads most are paying for them, right? So it's not a broad tax that maybe would capture people who aren't even using the roads, but it would charge the people for their use, which is an argument that people often give for tolling. It could fund alternatives to driving, whether it's public transit or biking, and that tolls are a signal to drivers about when congestion is highest, because the tolls would vary based upon how busy the roads are, and that it could help with congestion. If fewer people are driving the roads because the tolls are higher, people could drive through the region more quickly and save time. We did inform people that these are some of the reasons that people support tolling, but even considering them, they ended in opposition.
Overall, yeah, overwhelming majority seems to be there that, or majority that, yeah, they're against the tolls. Well, it's really interesting data and just seeing where it is. And it is, regardless, this is something that's going to have to be addressed here over the next couple of years. So I believe ODOT put a hold on it for a couple of years before this would be instituted. And we still don't know exactly what that plan would be, but it is most likely, by all indications, something that is going to be coming down the pipeline in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, certainly we'll be hearing a lot of opinions, I believe, on this over the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And stay engaged. This is a big policy conversation for people to be paying attention to and have their voices heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, thank you very much, as always, for joining us here and going through all of this data for us and letting us know what people think, what the opinions are, and that's what we're doing with these segments. So for everybody watching, we're just presenting what the data is of what the survey says, what people want to know, what people care about, what people's opinions are, and that's why we like presenting these. So, John, as always, appreciate you being here on Fox 12 Now.
Thanks so much. See you soon.
All right, sounds good. And you'll find John frequently on here going through some of the data like that for DHM Research, so you can always go take a look at this data afterward as well, and lots of great information there for you to find, to go through, and if you want to see some of these Fox 12 Now segments where we've gone through data before with big opinions like these, things where people have a lot of opinions, sometimes it's a little more varied as far as opinions across the board. This one, majority seem to be against tolling, but agree that there are issues to be had. So let us know in the comments. If you are watching on Facebook and YouTube, feel free to do that. Please be kind in your comments, but go ahead and let your opinions be known in there as well. We are also on our apps. The Fox 12 Oregon app is a great way to watch this, and I do have more coming up right now on that app. So we've got another segment that we do that's exclusive to the app and the website. I encourage you to join me over there. Either hop on over to kptv.com or download the Fox 12 Oregon app and join me on there. We'll go through a few other things. This is more of some varied content that we've got that we'll have over there. So I'll be there in just a couple of minutes. I'll see you there. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.